Sripada Sharanam Prapadhye, Chapter 36, The Account of Vedanta Sarma, The Worship of Matangi. The Worship of Matangi. Sri Dharmagupta and I took the anklets of Sripada, which were presented to us as Mahaprasad, and continued our journey. All through the previous night, the melodious music of his foot anklets were resounding in our hearts. We have learned that Om can be heard without one's effort in the Anahata center located in the heart. But the entire previous night we heard the sound of Sripada's anklets in our hearts as a rhythmic music. Power flowed from the Anahata chakra to the other chakras. While it was happening, we felt that some new power was generated in all the nerves in our bodies. While we were walking, we were hearing the sounds of the anklets. Whenever we were stopping, the sound was also stopping. In the meantime, we noticed an ashram in the farm fields and nearby a village was seen. Outcasts lived on the outskirts of the village. We discussed among ourselves how an ashram had come to be in its vicinity. As we came closer to the ashram, the sound of the anklets halted. We assumed that we were going to get a profound spiritual experience. At that moment, a 60-year-old sage with a divine glow came out of the ashram. Afterwards, a 30-year-old yogini mother came out of the ashram. They cordially took us inside the ashram. The sage began to narrate, "My name is Vedanta Sarma. I was a resident of Pitikapuram. I am now being called Bangaraya. Her name is Bangaramma. I am a Brahmin by birth. This lady belonged to the cobbler's caste by birth. We have an altar of Matangi in our house. We are worshipping Matangi here, who is one of the Dashamahavidyas." I had horripilation. This person was saying he was a Brahmin and that the women belonged to the caste of cobblers. How was their marriage approved by the dharmas specified in the scriptures? We were given fruits and root vegetables. Bangaraya said, "Sir, when Arundhati requested Vasistha to marry her, he imposed a condition that she should not object to whatever he might do with her body. She agreed. Rundanam means objection. The sage burnt her 7 times and brought her back to life. In spite of it, she never objected. That was why she became Arundhati. After that, he took her as his wife. When I was in Pitikapuram, I married thrice. All the 3 wives later died. I wept at my fate. Sripada humorously used to tell, "Grandpa, I found a grandma for you. If you take her as your wife without marrying her, I will grant you a noble birth." Sri Bapanarya was the chairman of the Brahmin Parishad in Pitikapuram. Under this council, Brahmins requested that a conference of Vedic scholars be held. It was felt that there was a need for discussing some subtle points regarding dharma and karma and to take decisions accordingly. It was decided to invite scholars from distant places and pandits from Pitikapuram. I was entrusted with the task of deciding about the persons to be invited. Sripada had never recited the Vedas after his sacred thread ceremony. In fact, He was not sitting at the feet of his grandfather or father and learning lessons from the Vedas. Nevertheless, if anyone with the purpose of testing Sripada were to ask him to recite any verse from any chapter of the Vedas, he was at once reciting it. Sripada knew all the Vedas that Bapanarya knew. He knew not only the Vedas but also Vedanta and the secrets of the Vedas also. Therefore, we decided to invite Sripada also to the conference. The real intention of the Brahmins there was different. Large scale arrangements were being made for the conference. The Dharma Shastras were to be thoroughly discussed at the conference. The inner intention of the Brahmins there was to strongly criticize the violation of Dharma by Sripada, and on that basis to ostracize Sri Appalaraja Sharma and Sri Bapanarya from the Brahmin caste, and to send a copy of that resolution to Sri Shankaracharya, and with his approval to drive out the two families from Pitikapuram. I joined them when they informed their intention to me. A strong and a strange desire to become the president of the Brahmin conference shot up in me. Sripada used to go freely to the house of anyone belonging to any caste. He used to behave very independently. In the same Pitikapuram, the Bangaraya and Bangaramma couple lived. They had a strong desire to see and speak with Sripada. All of a sudden, Sripada asked for leather sandals. His age at the time was 14 years. The inmates of his house turned down his request because Brahmins should wear wooden footwear and not leather footwear. Through someone, this matter reached the cobbler couple. They thought that they would be blessed by offering leather sandals to Sripada. Suddenly, Sripada appeared in their house. The measurements of his divine feet were taken. Bangaramma implored to Sripada, "Great Lord, I want to peel my skin and stitch sandals with it and offer them to you." Sripada smiled and disappeared. There was a good cow in our house. It suddenly became ill and died. The Bangaraya and Bangaramma couple tanned its skin and made leather sandals for Sripada. In the meantime, the meeting of Vedic scholars began. A discussion started about Sri Adi Shankara. Sri Adi Shankara debated with Mandana Mishra in Kashi. Ubhaya Bharati Devi, the wife of Mandana Mishra, said that the test was not complete unless she was also defeated in the debate. Ubhaya Bharati Devi questioned on the science of sexology. Sri Adi Shankara's knowledge in that science was nil. So he asked for 6 months of time. Sri Adi Shankara thought of obtaining knowledge of the sexology science without infringing dharma. In the meantime, a king died. Sri Adi Shankara entered the dead body of the king by means of his knowledge on entering the body of another person. He instructed his disciples to safeguard his physical body carefully, and in case of emergency to come over to the king's palace and intimate the matter in a code language. The queen noticed the new change in the king. She understood that the soul of a great person entered the body of her husband and attracted her husband's pranamaya jagat back into the dead body. While her husband was enjoying the conjugal pleasure, that great person's soul was getting the knowledge of the experience, remaining as a witness in the body. She also learned that her husband's pranamaya consciousness would remain in the body only as long as the great person's soul stayed in her husband's body. So she ordered the royal staff to find out if any dead body was lying in the town without being burnt and to burn it immediately. While the body of Sri Adi Shankara was being burnt, his disciples conveyed the matter in court language to Sri Adi Shankara, living in the guise of the king. Sri Adi Shankara regained his burnt feet and hands by the grace of Sri Lakshmi Narasimha. Sripada's wonderful talk in the conference of Brahmins. Then Sripada questioned the conference. You are saying that a soul remains in one body at a time and enters another body after leaving that body. Then I am asking you a question. Can the soul dwell in 3 or 4 bodies at the same time and neutralize the results of karma of 3 or 4 births? For that, the council replied that it was a complicated matter and there were no evidences to indicate that it happened like that at any time in the past. Sripada responded by saying, why there were no such instances in the past? You do not know that such things exist. It was mentioned that due to a curse, Devendra, Indra, was born as 5 Pandavas, and Sachi Devi, Indrani, the consort of Indra, was born as Draupadi and became their wife. Even when Sachi Devi and Purandara were born on earth, their original nature remained in heaven. Only Arjuna had the comfort of bed with Draupadi. She used to discuss political matters with Dharmaraja. Like a mother, she was preparing delicious food items and serving them to Bhima. She afforded sexual pleasure to Arjuna. She appeared in the form of Lakshmi to Nakula. Since Sahadeva knew about the past, present, and future, he wished the event should take place quickly and the Kurukshetra battle should conclude soon. So she was conducting with him with more patience than Mother Earth. The dharmas of gods and the dharmas of humans are different. The dharmas of animals are different. They should not be mixed. I said, in Puranic times, many strange things might have happened. In present times, such things are not occurring. Then Sripada's keen looks fell on me and he addressed me. You married 3 women. The 3 died. Were the 3 having 3 souls, or was there a single soul? If the marriage of 3 women by a man is sanctioned by Dharma, is not the marriage of 3 men with a single woman sanctioned by Dharma? What is Atma? What is marital Dharma? To that question, I emphatically stated that a man can marry any number of women, but a woman had no such right. Sripada commented, oh, are you greater than the master of the universe? Mandodari was a great pativrata. When she was the wife of Vali, the atoms of her body were different. When she was the wife of Ravana, the atoms of her body were different. The atoms of her body were different when she was the wife of Vibhishana. Atma is devoid of passions. It has no attachment with anything. It is eternal, pure, and extremely sacred. When she was the wife of Vali, who had the main quality of tamas, she discharged her responsibility to suit it. When she was the wife of Ravana, who was chiefly a person of Rajas, she conducted herself in tune with him. When she was the wife of Vibhishana, with Sattva as the chief quality, she met her responsibilities as such. I could not reply. After some thought, I said, Sripada, if we agree to what you are saying, then we must also accept women having multiple husbands. Then Sripada remarked, this is Kali Yuga. Many subordinate races are coming up. Animals, birds, trees, and vermin also are taking human birth. They are having varied relationships matching to their respective natures. When relationships contrary to dharma are formed, mixed caste arises. They are bound to be destroyed at the end of Kali Yuga. Devilish forces are responsible for the origin of unforeseen mixed species or caste. Therefore, the devilish forces are to be destroyed. Once a demon is destroyed, he will not take rebirth. But 10 demons are being born in the place of one demon. Only dharmic relationships withstand. Therefore, all people should compulsorily observe the duties of family and lineages and caste. Some divine souls also emerge from time to time. They have only one soul. If that soul emerges with a male form, that soul's Shakti also emerges with a female form. Their relationship is called the divine marriage. Such divine souls were present even from the beginning of creation. They will be there at the end of creation also. They remain in an intimate union of an undivided form of Parashakti and Parabrahma. You were born as Vedanta Sarma, a Brahmin, and as Bangaraya, a cobbler, at the same time. Your Shakti was born as your 3 wives, as the cow that died recently in your house, and as Bangaramma, the wife of the cobbler Bangaraya. The consciousness of your deceased wives and the consciousness of the deceased cow have merged with the consciousness of the Pariya women Bangaramma. The consciousness should revert and merge with the origin of the consciousness from where it is emanated. The mystery of creation is very impervious. Even the power of the 7 rishis is not enough to comprehend it. As Bangaramma's body has been surrendered to Bangaraya, you can carry on the married life with her without violating dharma. You should not derive any kind of bodily comfort from her. Being the seat of dharma, I have taken this decision. When we enter nature, we should follow the principles and traditions of nature conscientiously. Bangaramma said that she would present me sandals stitched out of her skin. I accepted her promise. When she was existing as Bangaramma, without her knowledge, she was also born as a cow. Without being aware, she also was born as your 3 wives. When the consciousness is distributed into 3 or 4 bodies, each part in a particular body thinks that it is the only one. It cannot recognize the unity of all the parts. The verse Kale Pancha Sahasrani Jayate Varna Shankare has the above mentioned meaning. It does not speak of the adulteration of the caste. It only speaks of the mixture of races. When castes are adulterated, it leads to low births. With the mixture of races, a new race is born with new strengths. This new race attains divinity through the evolutionary process of the mankind. A divine race will be born on this earth. I am aware of the real motive of this Brahmin Parishad. The evil intention of banishing my father and grandfather from the Brahmin caste is hidden in your innermost recesses. Therefore, I am ostracizing you, Vedanta Sharma, from the Brahmin caste. From today, you will be named as Bangaraya. Sripada commanded. The entire council was astounded. While everyone was looking, a light came and merged in me. Then again Sripada spoke sternly. Before your very eyes, the consciousness of Bangaraya came and merged in Vedanta Sharma. You now decide whether he is a Brahmin or a Pariah. You wanted to expel us from the caste and get approbation of Sri Adi Shankaracharya. What can Sri Adi Shankaracharya do to me? I was born before your eyes and grew up without studying Vedas at all from my grandfather or my father. I am reciting Vedic verses. I am giving darshan in many places at the same time. Why should I fear even if I face Sri Adi Shankaracharya? I will give him darshan as Sri Sharada Chandra Maulishwara, who is worshipped daily by him, and will grant him my grace. Then he will have to compulsorily agree that I am God. Then his decision will become much more painful to you. The councils of Kshatriyas and Vaishyas will not bow down to your decisions. If they stop supporting priestly activities and rituals, and if they stop giving monetary gifts, then you will have to starve along with your children. If you wish to quarrel with me, then you will be ruined in all possible ways. I am telling that the duties of the four ashrams, four age based stages of life: student, householder, retiree, and renunciate, are to be followed. People of all 18 species should live with comfort and happiness. Discharge your righteous duties effectively and participate in the establishment of Dharma. If not, you will undergo many troubles and losses. I will remain perfectly tranquil, but you will fall into chaotic situations. During the development of nature, there are only two methods. One is the correcting method, and the other is the method of being corrected. Plenty of time will be given for the second method, that is, for being corrected. If you are not ready for being corrected, you will only invite destruction. I will establish Dharma even by destroying if needed. Having no other option, I took Bangaramma with me, and while traveling with her from one village to the other, I came to this place. I installed a Matangi Devi idol in this hermitage and have been living here. Sripada, while traveling on this way to Kurungadda, came to our ashram and blessed us, saying, "After death, because of the bonds of indebtedness, you will again be born as a Brahmin. Because of the bonds of indebtedness, Bangaramma will be born as a Shudra. Then both of you will get married. You will have children. Your progeny will have the fortune of worshipping me. May you be blessed with comfort." Sirs, this is our story. He explained the matters of their connection with Sripada and said, Sripada instructed us that you would be traveling in this area and that his anklets are with you, and that we should give the leather sandals to you in exchange for the anklets. We worship Matangi Devi, who is the daughter of sage Matanga. By worshipping her, abundant marital bliss can be gained. She is called Rajamatangi, Karnamatangi, and with a variety of other names. One Sripada appeared physically in our ashram. At that time, Bangaramma was heating milk. We had the darshan that the cow, which was the origin of the leather sandals, passed in front of us while nodding her head. Sripada received the milk from us. He graciously declared that the idol of Matangi Devi worshipped by us would reach many fathoms deep below the Audambara tree in the Mahasamsthan to be established in his name. He added that it will be worshipped by many Siddha Purushas. He called Bangaramma and said, Mother, your husband is a very worthy one. Enjoy all comforts from him in the next birth. I kept a golden tilak, mark worn on the forehead, ready for you. I got an extremely auspicious Mangala Sutra prepared for you. They are preserved in the Hiranyaloka. In the ensuing birth, I will personally bless you and perform your marriage with my hands. Sirs, you have heard our story. You always recite Siddha Mangala Stotra. Therefore, you will certainly receive the grace of great persons. Siddhas, Mahasiddhas, and Mahayogis are all like the hands, feet, and other limbs of Sripada Srivallabha. Sripada carries out his resolve through them. Once he graced us by granting his darshan as Rajamatangi Devi. The entire creation and all its secrets are in his hands. You constantly remember him, meditate upon him, and worship him. He is all Siddhis. He protects you like your own mother. The love of Sripada towards his devotees is superior to the love of 10 million mothers. Sripada Rajam Sharanam Prapadhye.